my God!
Yeah.
Check that stud out.
Watching the passion that Derek had for barracudas was infectious to me. It was not, you know, oh, well, maybe we'll catch a cuda if nothing else is going on. It was like, that was the priority. He was into it. This was the target species for the day, and that was exciting to me.
Derek just has a passion. He's just a guy that loves what he's doing, man. He loves painting, he loves fishing, and he loves mixing those two together to really create a really cool lifestyle.
Oh! Yeah! Come on, come on. Oh! He ate it! He ate it! He ate it! Nice, baby! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about! I thought you said you had to...
Got him, relax.
Oh, dude, he just ripped my boat off. Oh! Awesome, look at that big boy!
The Hawks Cay Saltwater Experience, presented by Yellowfin, with Captain Tom Rowland and Captain Rich Tudor.
We're out there with Derek DeYoung. He's a great marine artist, certainly one of my favorite marine artists, and definitely my favorite marine artist to go fishing with. The guy's like fishing with an old buddy you've been fishing with for 20 years. I mean, we get along great. We went cuda fishing in the morning and had just a remarkable day. I mean, he put us right on the fish. We're all catching fish. You're catching them on the tubes. Me and Derek are catching them on the lures.
Oh, one just swung on mine. Oh, he's on his... Oh, right
you got him!
Derek. Yeah, baby!
That's it, buddy. That one looks just like your painting, man.
I think my painting's a little prettier. This one's all scarred up.
How can you be prettier than the real thing?
You just gotta kind of bring out the colors of it.
It was windy that day, so he wanted to go close and be on the lee side. So we kind of went out under the bridge from his house towards the ocean side, and it really wasn't a long run. It was easy to get to, and while that wind was, you know, blowing hard in the morning, it was a perfect lee side shoreline.
How far he's gone.
I know.
Oh, look at him! That's a good one there.
That's the fish of the day right there so far. You know, we get in this spot where we could easily just go around and do this again. But we decide, you know, Derek's like, man, you know what? I think I know where some big ones are. I think we ought to go deep into the backcountry and try this couple spots that I've got back there. And we found a spot really that I've run by probably more than 1,000 times and never even thought about fishing it. And Derek takes us up there and he's like, okay, look, we're gonna start right over here. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. I know that spot, yeah, never fished there. And he's like, yeah, well, there's some big ones in there.
So is this where the big hog daddies live?
Hog Daddy.
There's usually a couple.
It looks like a big hog daddy spot.
So we set up just like he wants to set up, and now that I look at it, it's like, well, yeah, of course they're there, because it's the right bottom, and it's right on the edge of a little bit deeper water, and it's a perfect signature spot. So we enter like he said, and sure enough, man, that's where the big ones were.
Oh, right here! Oh, he's under the boat! Wow!
That was a good bite.
That was incredible!
my God.
Talk about surprise! Wow, that's a big one too. Wow!
I'll pull down. Let's see what. Maybe he's got a friend.
Man, I would have thought I could see him coming. I didn't see him at all. I just all of a sudden, bam! When Derek took us to his backcountry spot, I was up on the top of the platform, and I'm casting, and I turn my head as the lure's almost to the boat, and as a total surprise to me, just crushed something, hit it right there, and I look down, there's this big cuda that ate it. I mean, it seemed like it was already coming out of the water.
Wow!
A lot of times,
crazy.
You know, like. Follow somebody else's in, and then they're
just
sitting
hanging
there
out.
waiting.
That's skill to be able to get down and fight a fish.
Wow, we'll see. Wow, that's a nice one. That was a total surprise. I was literally looking the other way. I thought my bait was already to the boat, you know? He did the old crazy
He was
diving around the boat.
Classic.
I can't believe how close to the boat that fish hit. I can't believe that I didn't see it coming. It was a total surprise, and one of the coolest bites for me of the day.
Yeah, that happens all the time, man. I'm telling you. I tell people, like, if you're reeling that lure straight to you, you're bringing the cuda straight at you. So move your rod off to the side so that
because they can launch out.
They do. I mean, it happens all the time.
See, how many freshwater fish could at this point go ahead and just pull that much drag? I mean, obviously a king salmon or something, but it's rare.
This is incredible. Ferocious bites and shallow, pretty water.
Ferocious bites is right. That one was, for sure. But again, I think, like, they're chasing it in, and then they, unlike other fish that see the boat and are like, oh, that's something there. I don't want to bite that. They think there's something there, and I better bite that before it gets away.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like the most about barracudas is I like handling them. Handling the fish has always been one of my favorite parts. That's, you know, of guiding, you know. And Derek was jumping the gun on me every time, like, let me grab him for you. And he likes handling them. And I think that he really likes handling them because he gets that closer look at the fish. You can just see that he's looking at all this detail. He's looking at the color, he's looking at the way the fish are spotted up, he's looking at the teeth, he's looking at how it would look in the water, like as you're releasing it. And you know, he's just very observant like that, and then it translates right into his art.
See you, buddy. Nice.
That was a great eat.
Yeah, it was. Oh, there's one right behind mine.
Oh.
Look at him, he's trying to eat it.
Oh, what?
Oh, that's a giant.
He's trying to eat it.
Oh, he is trying to eat it.
The Hawks Cay Saltwater Experience, presented by Yellowfin, is brought to you in part by Hawks Cay Resort. Find what lures you. Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder. B&W Trailer Hitches, towing adventure. Mercury Marine, go boldly. St. Croix Rods, the best rods on earth. Waypoint. And by Ameritrail. Daiwa. Marathon. Power Pole. And Vibe.
So we enter the spot that Derek wanted to fish, and we start talking about different things that he's seen there. He even said he saw a permit there, and sure enough, we ended up seeing a permit there. But this was a cool spot because it was a little bit deeper than where we were in the first spot. I always like those deeper spots because I think it lends itself to bigger fish. I mean, you can catch plenty of big cudas in shallow water, but it just seems like spots like this that are kind of near deep water, and they're just maybe a foot or two deeper than where we were fishing in the morning, lend themselves to that next size class of fish. And Derek knew exactly where they were going to be, man. He's like, you just go down through here and don't go too fast because it's not a real big spot. And those fish up there, they were a little bit bigger, a little bit meaner, a little bit faster.
Right there! Oh, right on! Wow!
This is working.
Got him.
Slow that trolling motor down.
Yeah.
That's a good one, man.
Got him.
What a crushing bite. I love it.
Tom, was that the one that followed in? Because one bounced off the boat.
Yeah, I saw that
and
one.
And then, boom, you were hooked up.
Just looked right behind the lure, and there he was. I'm not sure where he came from.
Nice jump.
My favorite fish of the whole day came from deep water towards shallow water. I threw out that way, and I'm bringing it back into shallow water, and I get a big bite. The fish is jumping, and it's really exciting fish. As it comes in, there's a fish that is considerably larger.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one right behind mine. Oh, look at him. He's trying to eat it.
Oh, what?
That's a giant.
He's trying to eat it.
Oh, he is trying to eat it.
And it looks like it's trying to eat
It looked like
my
he was
fish.
coming to eat your fish.
But I think that fish was trying to bite the lure that was hanging out of my fish's mouth, but really super aggressive. Went around the boat a couple of different times.
Gosh, he did try to eat it. That's amazing.
He's trying
That
to eat
was
the.
insane.
I think maybe he might have been trying to eat the lure out of this one's mouth. That was super cool. I just love the kudu fishing because it's so visual, and you know, whether you catch them or not, there's just so much action. You know, super fast reeling, fish biting on the surface, fish jumping, fish running super fast, and you know, to do that all with a super cool guy like Derek, you know, to share that day with him, it's just really fun. I enjoyed it, man. It's one of my favorite days of the whole year so far.
Dude, that other one was well over 50.
Yeah.
Because this one's 41.2.
Yep. Wow. What was the last one that you caught, or Rich caught? 40?
Yeah.
This is 41.
No, his was
41 at least, maybe 42.
It's a respectable day of kudu fishing right here.
Absolutely. Derek's a marine artist that fishes for all different kinds of fish. He spends time in 3 different parts of the country. And if you go to any of those different places, his artwork is everywhere. I mean, if you go to Montana, you'll see drift boats have his wrap all over the boats. You go into any fly shop, it's everywhere. And, you know, he loves fishing for those fish. He loves fishing for the northern fish like the smallmouth bass and the lake trout and all that. but he also loves spending his winters down in the Florida Keys. And the fish that he really likes to fish for is the Barracuda, because it's available all the time. You can go out and fly fish for them, or you can go and spin fish for them with somebody that's never cast a lure before. They're a real great fish for that, and you can do it on basically any weather condition. So I think that's one of the reasons why Derek likes them, but I think it might also be because it's very similar to a lot of the other kinds of fishing that maybe he's done in the past.
Yeah, you know, lots of casting, you know, the toothy critters, the you know, big lures, lots of you know, time on the water. You know, I think that carries over, and he applied some of those northern techniques for these barracudas here.
Yeah, buddy. Nice. Whew. Good work. Good job, man.
Saltwater fishing destinations, you're usually in some of the most intense sun on the planet. You're really close to the equator, and it's really not an option of whether or not you're gonna wear sunscreen or sun protection. It's which is a better choice, right? About 15 years ago, I was lucky enough to find the Buff products very, very early, and started wearing the Buff multifunctional headwear. This is basically a sock that fits over your head, and you cover up your face with it. When I first started wearing it, people used to ask me if I was an outlaw or something, but now just about every guide and every mate and anybody that's spending any kind of time outdoors around the South Florida area, you're seeing them wearing these Buff products, because the fact is that they work. It's a very simple thing to do. You just put the Buff on, get your sunglasses on as well, and then you cover yourself up right up to the sunglasses, and basically, this is it. You're covered everywhere. The regular Buff products come now in the UV Plus fabric, which is really stretchy and very breathable, but there's also, you know, for going into super extreme conditions or people that are very sensitive to the sun, they have this UVX mask, which has kind of a cape kind of at the bottom, so you can tuck it under your shirt, and it also will has a little tighter fit around the top, so you can get it really tight around there. And then I can just go with some of their arm sleeves later in the day when I've started to get too much sun. I'll just slide some of these arm sleeves on that are the coastal arm sleeves. They're made out of the UVX material, and these are fantastic. I can just keep these in my pocket, and I know that I'm going to be able to have 100% sun protection on my arms or my face at any point. So I've said many times before that wearing the Buff products will add 10 years to your fishing career. But no matter what you do, if you're out in the sun often, whether that's fishing or hunting or hiking or swimming or whatever you're doing, make sure that you're taking care of your skin. I personally like covering up the best, but whatever you're doing, be very careful in the sun.
Grew up on the water back in West Michigan, and spent every spare second chasing fish. That was probably when I was 7 or 8 years old, and that was when I was kind of discovering how much I loved art and that I had, you know, a knack for it. So what I was going to draw when I came up to the house in the evening was all the fish that I thought were down in the depths there in the bayou. And I was about like 6th grade, started working under an artist in Grand Haven, and he taught me all the basics. Started with like charcoal and paper and moved all the way up to oil painting. And I just took to it. And from that moment on, I was a fish artist, 6th grade. I didn't know there was a job, but I was gonna paint fish for the rest of my life, and went to Kendall College of Art and Design. Told them I want to be a fine artist, I want to paint fish. And they said, well, you need to get in our illustration department, because painting fish is pretty representational. It's not as abstract. So spent the next 4 years getting my degree and kind of figuring out who I was as an artist. Still didn't know if there was a job out there for a guy who wants to paint fish and fish, but I was bound to do it. I kind of realized at that point that no one is doing more contemporary fish art. And I kind of wanted to fill that niche. Prior to that, most of my stuff was very representational and kind of illustrative, because that's what I was surrounded by. But I started doing the close-ups of the fish faces and the skins. And I realized I was onto something, because people either loved them or just absolutely hated them. And when you get that kind of reaction, you know that, you're tapping into something. I realized too that staying right by my hometown of Grand Haven and Grand Rapids, Michigan, I was not gonna make it. So we moved out to Montana and tried to expose my work to the national fly fishing crowd, everyone who's coming out there to fish, and it caught on immediately. Couldn't have been a better plan. And I really kind of gained that position in the fly fishing industry as doing the more contemporary fish art. And we lived out in Livingston, Montana for 9 years, fishing and doing trout art. But I did a fishing trip to Marathon in the Florida Keys when I was in college. And from the moment I did that trip, I said I will live in the Keys, in some way and do art down here. And after that, it was my goal to get my wife Janelle out of kind of her corporate America job and get her working alongside of me. And then we could, spend the winters down in the Florida Keys and painting all these new fish and all these new colors. And it's just been awesome. This is our 6th year spending our winter in the Florida Keys and painting these fish. Learn a little bit more every year about the fish and where to go and on what tide. And it's been so engaging and so much fun.
Oh, that's a nice one, Derek.
Yeah, that's
a good one there.
Fish of the day right there so far.
Oh, look at him.
Coming down here to the Keys and, finding these barracuda. I mean, growing up, we would work so hard to catch a 26-inch northern pike. Well, there's, mid-50s barracuda down here, and that really got into my brain big time. And my first couple years, I didn't have much luck. I didn't really know the technique, and eventually started figuring it out and catching these things.
Jeez, he's heavy.
Oh yeah, he's solid 15-pounder, full size.
That's a really nice one on a lure like that. Wow.
I mean, I think they're one of the coolest game fish out there as far as their speed, how vicious their take is, and they're really a wicked looking fish for me to then paint afterwards. Those big teeth and that gnarly looking face, people like it, and it's gotten more popular. Coming through art school, one of the things that the professors would say is make sure you develop a style and stick to it so people can recognize your work. And I completely agree with that, that's important, but the problem is I get bored. So I have my style, but then I deviate and try something new. Get a little more representational, get totally crazy, or just let my creative mind just have fun with really no anxiety towards trying to control it, and hone it into something perfect. And I think that, that's what keeps all my work having that signature style.
The Hawks Cay Saltwater Experience, presented by Yellowfin, is brought to you by Yellowfin, only in a Yellowfin. Hook. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, your adventure starts here. Buff, built for ultimate sun protection. And by Motor Guide. Nikon. Wiley X. Lithium Pros. And Burnowin Rod Holders.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching the show. We'd like to get to know you better, carry on the conversation, and the best way to do that is follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Feet now. Right off the bow, 20 feet. Yep. Oh, what a bite! What a bite! It's a big one too. Wow, that was awesome.
Sight fishing them.
Oh, look at him! What a run!
Good run.
Oh, good work.
That was awesome, man.
I don't know.
He was hungry.
Rich got so excited I thought he caught it.
He was hungry.
Oh, that's neat. When you see it and you tell somebody 20 feet and they throw it there and he eats it like that, it feels like you're catching him. It's
Yeah,
better.
right?
That's awesome.
That's a good one. That might be the
Yeah.
fish of the day.
I really enjoyed spending the day fishing with Derek. He just had a warm, inviting personality, you know, just a passion for the fishing, and it was contagious. I really enjoyed our time together.
Yeah, he's a cool guy, man, and I really appreciate his art, but more than that, you know, I appreciate his friendship. We've gotten to know each other pretty well over the last couple of years and stay in touch, and it's just cool, you know, to see how he paints it all and to see all what goes into it, you know, like you see a guy, you're kind of a fan from afar, and then you get to know him and you're like, man, that guy really puts in a lot of work, a lot of time and effort into what he's doing, and that's why his art is as good as it is.
I'm glad we made the run over here.
I know. This is great, man. Yeah, this is definitely the biggest one of the day so far. But it's funny, you know, like we're talking, you know, I'd run by this spot 1,000 times.
Whew, that's a big one, Tom.
Yeah.
Here, let me grab them for you, brother.
That one, that's what we're looking for right there. The Taylor. Yeah.
Check that stud out.
That's an easy one to get out.
You got him just by the lip.
Yeah, say it's an easy one to get out.
That's a toad.
That's what we're looking for. Good job, Derek. Put us right on him, man.
Oh, well, this thing is just mint.
Look at that.
Chromed out.
That's the length you're looking for. I don't know if you were calling those other 40s. That one's substantially longer than some of the other ones we were catching. It's a world-class fish. You were right about this spot, man. They might not have been exactly where you were anticipating at first, but you said they're going to be here before we finish it out. And getting some good bites, man.
Oh, he's starting to get some power back.
Yeah, he's good to go, man.
Good stuff.
Kudotopia.